So today is January 12th, 2023. January 12th is a day in my family that holds significant meaning. Today is the 20th anniversary of saying goodbye to our son Joshua. He was Caleb's twin brother, and they were born on January 2nd, 2003. Joshua, I believe about a weekend, day 7, we got a call he had an infection. He had a perforation in his intestine that let E. coli bacteria into his body, and it ended up just destroying his body. They could give him antibiotics to kill off this bacteria, but his kidneys were not operational to be able to clear the toxins from dead bacteria. That's my non-medical understanding of what was going on. He was retaining a lot of fluids, was on a high frequency ventilator. I remember where we had supper the night of the 12th back in 2003, January 12th, 2003, eating at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Wendy and I, coming to a point where we knew we were prolonging death, we were not extending life, and we're faced with a decision that nobody would want to have to make. But we had a confidence from God that if Joshua was to live, he would have to be the miracle worker. God would have to be the miracle worker, and us allowing him to ultimately just be in peace and ultimately totally healed in heaven with God. We left dinner knowing that was the decision we need to make. Went to the hospital that evening after having talked with pretty much everybody in our family to let them know that that was coming. And they took Joshua off the ventilator and let us hold him. I believe he was gone as soon as the ventilator stopped. I think he was probably gone before that. I don't know. But I just remember that night, January night. It was a cold January night, Kalamazoo, Michigan, going up on the top story of the parking garage. It was an open structure, and just looking up in the sky, looking at the clear sky and the stars, and just heaven was all that more real to us. Our faith was what was going to bring us through this. And as much as there was a desire of and a hope that someday again I could see my son because of my relationship with Jesus and the fact that I have that as my security, that I will be in heaven one day as well. There's that hope of I'll get to see Joshua again, but more than that, just when I go to heaven, it's going to be Jesus. I look forward to one day seeing him, meeting him, and just resting in his arms and knowing that Joshua was healed and was able to rest safely in the arms of Jesus. That's what's on where we eventually laid him to rest on the tombstone there, as a memory that Joshua is safe in the arms of Jesus. And another kind of surreal moment from that time, I remember us writing an obituary, filling out the forms, and the obituary was written, and seeing it in the paper and just thinking, wow, that poor family, that's sad. But it was my name. It was my wife's name as the parents of this deceased child. And just that reality, that was our child. And I just remember the blessing of shock and numb that allowed us to make it through that time. It allowed us to comfort people that were coming to help comfort us. And it put us into a club that nobody wants to be a member of a parent who has lost a child. And over the years, we've had opportunities to help other people who have had to bury their children. whether they're burying an infant and burying all of these dreams, or whether they're burying an adult child and they're burying all sorts of memories. Loss is real. The grief, some years there's not a tear, other years just out of the blue things will just make me cry. And God has been with us through it all. God is good. He has given us 4 boys that we are thrilled to be raising. He's allowed Wendy and I to get to know each other better. And I believe it was harder for him to walk us through it than it would be for him to have healed Joshua completely. It can be hard knowing that God could have healed our son. He could have prevented the premature birth that caused the issues. And yet, somehow in his sovereign will, he chose to just be there to walk through this with us. And the privilege to walk through that with other people and give them hope because of the hope that we had in Jesus. So this is a special day for us, and just wanted to share some of that. This is not, that poor family, because everybody's worst day was their worst day, and it all matters, and it all impacts us. And it's easy for me to look and say, oh, but that family had to go through something even worse than me. And if I do that, I'm not acknowledging the pain I went through. But if, somebody looks at that and say, oh, well, I've got it way off worse than you, that also discounts that. So just today, I'm grateful for the 10 days that we got to be with Joshua. And I look forward to spending eternity with him along with Jesus. And hold the ones you love and know that God is good. He gives, he takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.